Hey guys, Pure Drone here in the studio again. Today we're going to be talking about synthesizers between the prices of $1,000 and $3,000. Big shout out to Lawrence who commented on my best synthesizers under $1,000 video, who suggested that I do a video such as this. Hi, I'm Pure Drone and this is my channel where I talk about synthesizers. I review them, I demo them, and I make electronica music. If you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button and tap that bell so that you can keep up with all of my synth adventures. And now, let's get into the video. So, on my list first is the Dave Smith Instruments OB6 6-voice polyphonic analog synthesizer. This synthesizer comes in two flavors. It comes in the keyboard and the module version. I own the module version of this synthesizer. What I like about this synthesizer is it is loaded with analog, creamy, juicy flavor. It has 6-voice poly and it is VCO driven. When it comes to build quality, you really can't beat a Dave Smith instrument. They are pristine in their build quality. The keyboard version and the module version are pretty much identical. They both have the same features other than the keyboard and the wheels. If you can spare the price tag that this puppy will set you back, this could be the center point of any studio. Coming in at $2,999 is, once again, a Dave Smith Instruments. This time it's the Prophet 12. It also comes in a modular form that will run you $17.99. If I had to pick between the two, I would go with the keyboard version, and that's what I did. Simply because all of the controls are pretty much laid out in front of you, and there is very little menu diving when you want to get down and dirty and start playing. However, if you don't want to be set back the 3K that this will take you to, then you can considerably cut your cost by going the module way and still get all of the great sound that the Prophet 12 module will bring you. Next, we have the Nord Lead 4 coming in at $2,299. It is a virtual analog. I own the module version of this. As of the recording of this video, I cannot find a brand new Nord Lead 4 module. So your brand new options to buy one of these would be the keyboard version at $2,299. Do I think it's worth that? I own the module. I paid less than $1,000 for it. I would suggest going online and getting something used. That's not to take anything away from the synthesizer. It is still a great synthesizer with lots of options. I just don't think it's worth buying one brand spanking new when you can buy them fairly cheap on today's used market. Now we come to KORG's PROLOGUE 61 key 16 voice analog synthesizer. It's coming in at $1,999.99. Would I ever buy this for my studio at this price? Personally, no, I would not. It doesn't have the sound that I'm personally looking for to fit my palette in my studio. However, your opinion and your experience may be different. Maybe you own it already and you'd like to share what you know about it, and that's great. Share it with us here in the comments below. Next, we have the ARTURIA MATRIXBRUTE analog matrix synthesizer at $1,999. This is the analog monosynth of all analog monosynths. Okay, maybe it's not all that, but it is a beast. It is a monster. I don't know of anybody that can complain about all of the open options you will find just staring at this keyboard's controls. Everything is laid out in front of you, and if you don't like menu diving, this is the synth for you. I do not own one of these, but I've heard only good about it, and the sound is very nice. And before I get flooded on comments, I do want to mention that this synthesizer is duophonic as well as monophonic. Also coming in at $1,999 is once again a Dave Smith Instrument Prophet Rev 2 16-voice polyphonic analog synthesizer. This comes in 4 flavors. It comes in 2 keyboard versions, one being a 16-voice, the other being an 8-voice. And then it comes into modular versions. Again, a 16 and an 8-voice synthesizer version of this machine. The pricing between the 4 options is considerable, and you should take a look at your options to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. If you don't need a keyboard, you can go the module version with these because they have all of the controls laid out in front of you. The modules and the keyboard share only one difference, and that again is the keyboard and the wheels. Wave shape modulation, onboard effects engine, polyphonic step sequencer, aftertouch, and it goes on and on. This is a machine that gives me major gas. I think I may pull the trigger on this. I may settle for the module version because I just don't have the room for another keyboard. The INTEGRA 7 synthesizer module. It comes in at $1,499.99. This is a 16-part sound module with the Supernatural engine in it. I have the Roland FA06 with the same engine inside of it. You have all kinds of options for strings, pianos, you name it. It can do it all. It is not an analog synthesizer. I would highly suggest one of these Roland synthesizers in your studio so that you can cover your generic instruments such as strings, certain basses, pianos, and VAs. This is a well-rounded synthesizer that is fully loaded with sound, over 6,000 of them. Electron Analog Keys is next on our list, coming in at $1,349. It is a 4-voice analog synthesizer with 2 analog oscillators, 2 sub-oscillators, 2 analog filters, and 1 analog overdrive per voice. Fully loaded synthesizer at $1,349. I had the desktop version of this synthesizer a few years ago. Absolutely love the sound. I have not found anything that quite sounds like one of these. However, at $1,349, it is a little pricey for a 4-voice analog synth, and the workflow was something I couldn't get used to, so I went ahead and sold it because for me, it was killing my creative flow. You might differ, you may love it. I have heard great stories about Electron and the workflow that people absolutely love these things. I just wasn't one who could get into the workflow. Other than that, I would shell out the money for this for the sound itself. There's also a new version of this called the Analog 4 MK24 with some improvements in the tabletop version. If you know more about this synthesizer and would like to share it with us, please do so in the comments below. NOVATION Peak Polyphonic Desktop Synthesizer comes in 1 flavor, 8-voice, polyphonic module. $1,299.99. This synthesizer gives me gas as well. However, I have not been able to pull the trigger simply because I have so many other synthesizers already that compete against it in my studio. If you do not have an 8-voice polyphonic synthesizer and you're looking for a module to fit somewhere in the corner of your studio, this would make a great sounding addition. I would highly recommend it. From what I heard online, it is a very flexible synthesizer. Some people I know have complained a bit about menu diving. I'm not entirely sure how deep the menu diving goes. However, I do know it is a very rewarding synthesizer once you get the sounds that you want from it. DREADBOX Abyss 4-voice polyphonic synthesizer comes in at $1,199. This is a DREADBOX. What else needs to be said? These guys have some fantastic sounding synthesizers. This is a very flexible synth, and it is in module form. DREADBOX makes high quality synthesizers that are built like little tanks. Now, my only gripe about this synthesizer is for an extra $100, you could pick up an 8-voice NOVATION Peak or an 8-voice Rev 2 from DSI. Now, before we get to the last one on our list, I want to remind you that you can go to my website, pureambientdrone.com, and you can find all of my finished tracks there, along with links to my social media sites where you can hook up with me. Last but not least on the list is Studio Electronics Boomstar. They have a lot of different flavors of the Boomstars. Currently, they have 5 different flavors of synthesizers in the 1045 range that you could pick from. Do a little bit of homework and you should find a Boomstar that is right for you. They each come with 2 oscillators and they're all analog. They're great machines. You just have to find the right one that's for you, and you have to decide if the price is worth it for your studio. Well, there's my take on the synthesizers that I find interesting for $2,000 to $3,000. Maybe I missed one or two or a lot. Whatever the case may be, leave a comment below and tell us about your synth adventures and which synthesizer that you would have liked to see on the list. I'm Pure Ambient Drone, reminding you that you can go to my website at pureambientdrone.com and download all of my music and connect with me on social media. Also, if you have not hit that subscribe button, please do so now because it encourages me to continue doing these videos. Until next time, cheers!